Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for all you're still looking awake and still alive, and some of you are still smiling. Thank you, Sid, for this kind invitation. Thank you to Posophy. Thank you, everybody, for having me here. I have 10 minutes, so I'm gonna go through lots of slides. I've got lots of really exciting examples from luxury hostels that Peter mentioned, and I thought it might bring some inspiration for your hotel or wherever you work. So, as Peter mentioned, I won an award. I've been featured in The Guardian. But the most important thing is that for you today is that I've been for 9 years traveling as a professional travel blogger. And I've got a lot of experience which is featured in this book. And I'm going to share with you some ideas and examples from this book in this next 10 minutes. But I'm primarily also here because I'm still defined as a youth traveler. Now, the definition is quite loose for youth traveler. Some people say it's 18 to 35 or 34 or 18 to 40. I prefer the latter because I'm just about to turn 40 next year. So some of you, you're still young, you know. So I'm going to be addressing this talk primarily from the perspective of the youth traveler. So what is important to the youth traveler today? Is this important to the youth traveler today? Maybe for the 18-year-olds, maybe. Or is this important? I'm like a little dot in that screen there. That's basically me paragliding in a place called Neisner. Has anybody here been to South Africa? Show of hands. Great. Beautiful country. My favorite country in the whole wide world. Beautiful beaches, wonderful people, amazing food, and great for adventure. And it's one of the cheapest places to go paragliding in the world. I think it only costs 29 euros. Just to give some context to my talk today, I thought I'd share this really cool study that was done by the Wise Travel Confederation. It's called the New Horizons Report. If you're interested in youth travel, I strongly suggest you download it. And they did this study in 2012 and again last year in 2017. And there's some very interesting numbers here. One of the key things that popped out in the survey was that 39% of young people were interested in nightclubs in 2012, and 5 years later, that number has dropped down to 35%. Whereas on the reverse, from 28% in 2012, 51% of young people were more interested in meeting and interacting with locals. So again, here's some seeds of thought for you, some little things to put in your mind when you think about your own hotel or hostel or accommodation. Walking and hiking, again, a big increase, 60%. Sitting in cafes, 64%. So the youth travel is changing. And for the youth traveler today, it's all about experiences. I think the tourism economy now, you can call it the experience economy. I think that's what is the most important and valuable thing that we can offer tourists. So, what kind of experiences and little things can we offer? I strongly believe that you win or lose your customer in the first 5 minutes of them arriving in your place. That is the most valuable time you have to impress or lose your customer. So the welcome drink on arrival, I don't know if any of you here offers a welcome drink on arrival, but it is a very simple but very wonderful way of welcoming somebody. If they've been traveling long from the airport and they're sweating and tired, sit them down. Don't make them stand for hours filling out that silly application form. Give them a drink. Relax. The Greeks, you guys are great at doing this. I don't even need to tell you. But this is a great place that does it. It's called Ostello Bello, and it's in Milan. Another thing that I love maps. I don't know about you, but when I get a map in my hand, it's like an adventure begins in my hand. And this is a great example of a map. It's a design luxury hostel in Paris called Les Piaulis. And they created this map, crowdsourcing suggestions from all the members of staff inside the hostel. So it's personal. And they designed it on one side of an A4, so it's not expensive to produce. But it's something simple. What are the other important little things where I believe these luxury hostels are doing really well? It's all about shareability. In today's age of social media, it's all about sharing experiences. And what can you do? This is a design hostel in Seville. It's called La Banda Rooftop. And the signature thing of this hostel, as you've guessed in the name, is that they have this amazing rooftop that overlooks Seville Cathedral. And every evening, 365 days a year, they do a rooftop dinner with live music from local musicians. And everybody loves this hostel because they're sitting there eating fabulous food, and you have that amazing view of the cathedral. Music. We all love music. We're talking about emotional bonding. Music is a great way of emotionally bonding people to your place. Keks, a very, very cool design hostel in an old biscuit factory in Reykjavik. They are famous for their live music scene, and they bring the best live musicians from all over Reykjavik and Iceland to their hostel. We mentioned about connecting with locals, really, really important for not only young people, I think people of all ages, we always love meeting locals. This is another very favorite hostel of mine. I live in Berlin, and it's called the Circus Hostel. And they do this thing called Behind the Curtain. Berlin, as you know, has a very painful but very interesting history. And when tourists come to Berlin, they want to know the history of what life was like before the wall. And in these Behind the Curtain tours, they take guests behind the curtain and try and go back in history about what was life behind the wall. And they interview people who used to be ex-Gestapo Stasi officers. They once did a tour with this guy, and he was showing them around what East Germany was like. So it's very interesting and insightful, and it gives people a flavor of the city. Other things, food. I don't know about you guys, but obviously you're Greek. Food is the way to love through your stomach. Food is so important. Food is, I think, it's one of the key selling points, I think, in Greece. So a dinner with locals, very simple concept. This is called a hostel in Rotterdam, and they invite local chefs into their hostel kitchen, and they cook a meal, and they get everybody around the table, and they eat, drink, and have a great time, and everybody loves this. It's a simple idea, but so easy to implement. Aperitivo. If any Italians are in the audience, one of the greatest inventions, culinary inventions of all time. A simple concept where you have a simple buffet of food, and you buy a glass of wine, and you get access to the buffet. This is the place I mentioned before, Ostello Bello in Milan. Every evening, all the locals from all over Milan pour into Ostello Bello, and for the price of a 3 or 4 euro glass of wine, they go and have the aperitivo, and all the tourists and locals meet together. So I think that's really, really cool and simple idea of bringing your guests and locals together. Another place in Italy, the Beehive. If you want to find somewhere which is calm and peaceful, because Rome is a crazy city, it's an oasis of peace in the Termini area, right beside the station. And Steve on the left is a really passionate foodie. He knows all the best pizza joints and the best places to eat pasta. He does a cooking class. This is something that people love. You're kneading the dough, making the pizza, making pasta, and he does this every week with his guests. Simple, but so much fun. On the right-hand side, they love stories. We all love storytelling. I think in Greece, storytelling is part of your heritage and culture. They do a storytelling event every month where they invite storytellers from all over Rome to come and tell stories over a glass of wine. And the tourists and the guests in the hostel are also invited to join in and share their story. And it's a really emotional, beautiful evening of just talking about travel and stories and drinking good Italian wine. Another simple idea that a lot of hostels do that I think, again, something you guys could implement, or you may have it already in your place, the whiteboard. Just a simple piece. In this case, this is a hostel in Lisbon called the Independente. You're walking up the staircase and you have the happy hour, when are they serving dinner, the time for brunch, but they're also, the staff leave tips of all their favorite things to do, like go to the flea market on Sunday in Lisbon. And it's, again, very simple, but again, personal touches, personal little things. Those are the little things that make the difference. What other things? I personally hate getting up at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. in the morning and having breakfast. I'm on holiday. I don't want to be like setting the alarm on my holiday to rush out of bed to go for breakfast, especially if I've been having a few drinks the night before. Ostello Bello, they're crazy. I don't know how many hotels do this, or hostels. They do breakfast on demand. You can wake up at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, go downstairs, and you can get breakfast. It's a luxury, but I think it's a luxury that is worth trying. Self-service check-ins. Some of your hotels probably already do this. Again, a very simple but very easy to implement idea. Have a couple of screens, people can check in, and yeah, coming to the end. Co-working spaces. Valerie was mentioning about today's traveler is mobile. People like Chaz. They work, they play, they eat, they drink all in one space. One day, pausing forward, a hostel in Bangkok has a great co-working space. Plus Florence, another hostel from Italy, has a swimming pool and a sauna and jacuzzi inside. And this one I love very much because I love films. A little hostel, they made a little room. It was abandoned on the basement and they converted it into a cinema room. You can order a movie and they will make popcorn with you in the reception. They'll make you a cocktail and you can go and watch a movie from their DVD collection or from their Netflix. Simple, easy ideas to use. That was my 10 minutes.